Right, hello everybody. This is going to be the tutorial for the little altered tin that I done, which was here. Which was this one here. Okay, and I've printed out, as they come like that, and I've already cut them out. But I thought, well, I'll show you how to do the tin, because normally I would prep the tin, then I'll go and while that's drying, I will go and cut all the bits and pieces out, but I'd already done most of it anyway. So my tin was 2 1/4 by 3 5/8. Okay, so the kit that I've designed is for a tin that size. Okay, because that's the standard altoid tin size. So that's what I've based it on, basically. Sorry if your tins are a little bit bigger or anything like that. But what I do first is I sand it around a bit just to get the shininess off. Not very much, because I mean you cover it all anyway. And then I will give it 2 coats of gesso before anything. That's what I done last time. I'm not saying this is the right way, mind, because I actually haven't even looked at a tutorial or anything. So I just like to prep it a bit with gesso, because I think things just stick to it better. So 2 coats of that everywhere. You don't have to. It don't have to be perfect, because it's all going to be covered. So yeah, it looks like I'll be doing a few other of my kits in these little tins, because I've really enjoyed doing it actually, and it wasn't hard to do the kit. The hardest bit was all the little embellishments. Some of my kits might not have all the little embellishments that I done with the winter kit, because I've done some little things, didn't I? But then I can always do some, so which is all fun. I don't even worry about my fingerprints. I hope you can see it, because I've zoomed in a bit, because someone said they wanted to see it zoomed in, so I'm hoping you can see it. I've stood up now, so I'm watching myself. Ooh. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to leave that to dry and then do another coat, and then I'll be back. Right then, that's nice and dry. 2 layers of gesso on it. So that's it. And the paint I used was this one we get in the UK from Hobbycraft, chalky finish paint. Okay, right, if you haven't got that, I've actually used a paint before for my furniture and everything years ago, and it was like an Annie Sloan one, and it was like £28 for half a litre or something like that, and I found it really expensive, so I went on Pinterest and I made my own. And we had normal house emulsion, and we then put plaster Paris in it, and I think you mix it up with actually I got my husband doing it, so a liquidizer or a whisk, and you whisk it all up so it's and that stuck brilliantly. So I'm sure you could do exactly the same. Okay, but if you're in America and that, you've got paints galore over there, you'll find a chalky finish one. I just think it's quite matte, so I quite liked it. And I got these when they were reduced, so that's why I got them. So I'll just paint everywhere the same as what I've done with the gesso, really, but more carefully, but it seems to cover really well. Yeah, so just paint everywhere, but again, it doesn't really matter like that, because I'm covering it anyway, so I just spend a bit more time, on the edges, because we don't cover that so much. It almost dries as you're doing it. It's brilliant paint. Okay, I'm just going to leave that to dry, and then I'll do the rest of it. So I can not make too much of a mess of it. So that's all going to be covered, so I'm not going to worry too much. Okay. Right, this is the actual cover. I just thought I'd show you while the tin's drying. I'd already done this previously because I knew I was going to make 2 of these. So I just cut a piece of wallpaper, which is there, and had a piece of fabric, any kind of fabric if you like, because you can just gesso it. I had a bit of like Hessian, and I stitched them together. So if you're not stitching it, then, you know, glue it properly. That's all I'd done there. And then when it was before gessoing, I actually cut with the, you know, cut the corners off with this as best I could, and then I trimmed it a bit just so give it the same shape as the actual journal pages. Okay, which I've done, definitely done the wallpaper, and then I trimmed the fabric after and just sort of matched it up. But because it's sort of rough looking, and I frayed all the edges after I sewed it, it doesn't matter, you know. So that's all. And then once I've done that, after I stitched it and everything, I gessoed it twice. Okay, because I had a deer on here, but I didn't like the colour. It was sort of, I don't know, I didn't think it went well, and I quite like the sort of white gesso look for this one. So that's all I've done there. Okay, so that's the measurements that I cut the fabric and wallpaper to. It was 4 3/8 by 3.5, and that's it really. And again, glue or stitch together. Okay, so that was that, and on with the pages then. So I'll put that away, and the tin's drying. So while that's drying, I can give it a look what I've already done with the pages. Wherever it is, oh yeah. So I think it was 9 pages altogether I chose. All right, these are the pockets and things because I just cut them. So I think I chose 3 of those because they're slightly thicker. If you don't, this is, oh, what is it now? 120 GSM, which is not copier paper. If you use copier paper, you could most probably get more pages in. All right, but at the moment, you can get no more than 9. All right, this is like just some line paper, which I've cut through. So I'll do another one of those. That's me trimming. I forgot it was in there. Usually take them out to trim. Times I've done that. So anyway, so that's one of the cutouts, and then some line paper, glassine bag that I've just trimmed the edges down. No, I haven't trimmed that one, have I? No, that is the size. I've just trimmed the edge off here, but I need to cut that open. And I chose another one of those. A couple of coffee stain pages. And another one of those. And that. Then I haven't stitched it yet. I've just cut a little envelope. I had a tiny envelope, and I cut it down a little bit further. Okay, and what I'm going to do there is I will stitch along there, and then cut the half circle out there, which will give me that little pocket that I've done in my other one, which is, because I didn't have any of these ones, so it'll just give me that. That's that, and then just trimmed off a bit of vellum that I'd printed, so that's going to sit in there. Don't know where that come from. There we go, so that's that really. And then I'm going to stitch the pockets on, ink them all down and stitch them, which I can start doing that now. Okay, so I've just cut pocket down there. That's one of the pages, and that one, just folded it back, look, where I wanted it. Place it there, round the corners off, and then I'll fold it where I want that pocket to be. Okay, and all I'll do is going to stitch that in. Again, don't have to stitch in, just glue it down, but I'm stitching it because I quite like stitching. So I'll glue that down just for extra support at the edges. I use tea stain, so it's not too dark, or you can use a bit of blue. So I use both, to be honest. Noisy. So, and I also rough up the edges as well with the Tim Holtz thing, but I'll do all that after. So I don't really need to stain that until I've done that, really. So that one's going to go there, which I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each side, just so to keep it in place when I stitch it. Just come away from the spine a little bit. And get that straight. And then this is a double pocket. Okay, so I'm going to stitch down the centre of that one, but I find them, you know, quite fiddly at first, and then you get into working with them and they're all right. So, let's see, I'm going to stitch mine, so, okay. So which I'll go and do now. Right, that one done. Okay, so you've got your bigger pocket there, and then you've got two little pockets here. Okay. Put that in there. Then at the other two pockets, which were these ones here that I've done here, and all I've done there was used a bit of the backing paper that you get with the kit, and I fold out the top to reinforce that, and then I'll sort of see where I want it, and then I will, is that a straight edge there? If I use that straight edge like so, and then I'll just mark it and cut it like that. I don't do any of the round corners. I'll do that with the, so I'll just carry on straight down that way, and I will go straight that way like that. When I cut it, because I round the corners once it's been stitched on. Make sure it's the right way. And just drop down a little bit. Okay, and I will stitch that on, but firstly I'll just put a little bit of glue down the side just to support it while I'm stitching. Just a tip. That's all you need. Oh, I haven't glued that down, have I? And also, that and a bit of blue. And I'll trim again once it's done. There you go. Right, I'm going to stitch that on. Okay, and that's that done. And all I do then is get to my corner rounder. There. Do that. Okay, now got a nice little double pocket. Don't need to do that bit, that's fine, because when it goes in, it'll be supported. I think that's it to the stitching. Yep, I must remember to do that, mustn't I? Okay. What I'll do is just turn that around. I'm going to cover this side anyway. But okay, I just made a little template out. Each inch apart. That's what I've done. I'll just find me centre a minute. It's 1 3/4. Do that. Match that line up on the back with the hole there. Okay, and then that's it. I need to do it on my block though, because I'm so used to that now. Oh, I'll get the cover as well. Might as well do it all together. So I'm going to put my head forwards. It's really awkward doing this without being able to lean into my work, because all you'll see is my head. I actually cannot see at all. There we go, we got it. Okay. There we go. Make sure we keep that all nice together. So it needs to stay that way, but just for a moment. Okay. Just put that back. Right, 3 times the length and a bit more. So that's 1, 2, 3, and half again for good measure. Through the middle one, just leave a little bit there. I usually, if I can, I'll just put my thumb on it, even though I've knotted it, but through the top or the bottom, whichever way you want to go. And then I'll go straight to the bottom or the top, whichever way. Some more through. I want it to hang down there. This is wax thread. I mean, I get this off eBay. Okay, so just wax thread. And then back through the middle one again. I usually try and come up the other side of that. Okay, so I've got one side and one the other. Okay, and then I'll take that off. No, getting in the way. And just carefully making sure that's nice and tight. Okay, and before I tie it, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, and then I've got one side and one the other. All right, and then we've got enough yet. Then not. And there we go. Perfect. All stitched in already, so now just got to decorate. Or if you was going to just stamp in and things like that, then do it before. But I didn't. I wanted to get on, so nice tall pocket there that we can decorate a little bit. So that's that bit done. Right. So on with the tin now, because we can leave that till last. It's actually going to be quite a quick tutorial, to be honest. Mind you, I haven't got a lot of time left today because I've got to go out. And then tomorrow I've got to go to my friends. Oh, I'm alright Wednesday, so I'll do the second half of the video on Wednesday, I think, just to finishing off. But we'll get the tin done a little bit more now. Okay. What I've done on my first one, I actually lined this with tissue paper, but I don't think you need to. I'm going to put just Snow Tex on because it's white. Okay, so I don't need to line it, which I think I made a mistake there. Like I said, it was the first one, and I just come up with that idea after I put the tissue paper on. So what I'm going to do is get my Snow Tex, Deco Art Snow Tex, okay, and brush it on. Just all sort of around. Not too thick on the corners though, else you won't get your journal in. You see okay? Hopefully you can. Yeah. If you haven't got that, perhaps a bit of gesso, because all I do then is put some glitter in it. So a bit more there. Because the glitter will stick to that. Okay. And then I'll just work around. Yeah. Okay, that's what I do. So when that's down, then like so. your glittery inside. Right, I'm going to, while that's drying, I'm going to stick that one down first. Use Mod Podge for that. Need to move it a little bit. Get hold of it. Okay. Better. Okay. Right, and I'll get the snow text now. Just put a bit up there. Right, it's going to be hard this time because I'll tell you what I done last time is I let that Mod Podge dry, trying to get the glitter on that. Oh, it's the wrong one. That's that one. So never mind, we will do it. Just going to have to be a bit careful because it will stick to what on there. So just going to be a little bit careful. come down a little bit. There we go. And then we leave it. Okay. Now we leave that to dry. And then you get on with the journal while that's drying, and then all we've got to do is the top and decorate the tin. Right, so we decorate these little pockets here. What I've done on that one there. Okay, that's the tag anyway, so we decorate them after. All right, so I need to back all mine first. So if you want to go ahead and back all your journaling tags that you want in there. Okay, so I laid a bit of this down and I've lost my bit of fluff. There it is. Alright, let's have a bit of glue first. Let's go that way. Skinny towards the spine, going thicker, I think. I quite like that look. And then just trim off after. Like that, and then a bit of that on the top. Okay, right, I've got those done, which in my other tutorial I showed you what to do there. So let's just cut them out. And what punch did they fit? The smaller ones fit that one, which is 1 1/4. Okay, I used a 1 1/4 round punch, and scallop one was 1 1/2. Okay. And then I put some of that trim in the middle. All right, so that sort of just sits there like that. Which I will do now. See, on the main journal I've done these, so I won't show them again. Which I will link. What I'll do, I'll link that video below, and the time where that is, where I've done those. Okay, so no need to show you. Just make sure that's straight. There we go. And then I think a little bit of glitter around the outside, which I should have done first, but a lot of my thoughts are after when the journal keeps sort of coming together, that's when I get my ideas. I don't seem to have them before. Everything sort of flows into one thing after another, you know. I know some people are very organised and know exactly what they're going to do. I've never been like that. Do this one first this time though. enough, I think. If not, let's get the acetate out. Okay. So I'm turning it around because I don't know whether you could see what I was doing. Okay, put that acetate there. We can continue. Yeah, it's beginning to look nice. Look, I love all that. Okay, then, right, I'll have a look at the time because I've already pre-made the little pocket up. Well, not totally, just a bit. So I've got the measurements for it. So. Right, before I've done the pocket, I thought I'd better stitch in these bits. I mean, we can either hand sew it or machine stitch it, okay? I usually fold it over so it's double thickness there, and then I'll stitch it there, but I put just a dab of glue so I know where it is. If anything, I'll go slightly towards the top rather than the bottom. Looks okay if you don't quite get the centre then. So just a little dab there, and then I'll fold it over, and then I'll cut this off after. Just reinforces that little bit, and I'll stick that down there before I stitch it in. Okay. And then I'll shut it like that to see where this needs to go. Again, I tend to eyeball it, but if you're into measurements, then please do so. And either hand stitch that or machine stitch it. So I'm going to go straight over that. I don't worry about it with my machine because it's like an old one, but if you've got a really good, funky machine, a good new one, then please be careful. Right, I'll go and do that in a minute. Okay, and then if there's anything hanging over there, I'll trim it off. That one's all right. And then there's a little bit here, look, and I'll just trim it a bit closer. And that's 2 or 3 times I go over that, just to make sure it doesn't come undone. There. Okay, because we put a pocket in the back, and then we also put a pocket in the front, so that covers that anyway. All right, and here you have it. I love it. It's like chiffon sari, because when I ordered some sari silk, this turned up and I'm thinking it doesn't feel like sari, but apparently they do have chiffon in the saris. So right, okay, pocket. Right, what I've done here, I've got some wallpaper, and I cut a piece 4 1/8 times 3 1/4. Okay, if you can see that. There we go. And also a piece for the pocket. It's 2 inches by 1.5. Okay, and what I do, I mean, again, I eyeball it, okay? I would sort of stick it in there and do that, okay? But the measurement across, if you want to be precise between the 2 score marks, is 2 inches. Okay, that's why that piece was 2 inches times 1.5. All right. So all you do then is do that, fold it in. So look, that way I think. Glue there. And then I'll just fold them back and glue them down. Then I'll glue that on the top there, but I stitch mine again. I'll just stitch down both sides and then across the bottom. I actually don't know where I was then because I just got disturbed, as you do when you're up in your studio having fun. So anyway, all I've done was I stuck that piece of paper on there for the pocket, okay, and then I will stick that on, okay. Right, hold on a minute, I've got to round off everything. So what I'll do is going to do that first, because or else that's going to look strange. So let's round off the corners to suit everything else. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't go through. But right there. And the top. And I rounded the bottom of those. Re-ink on what you've done there. Okay, and that sits just in there. I mean, you could do another pocket if you wanted, but I'm not. There's more pockets, the more stuff you put in, and then you don't get it in your tin. This is a real challenge for me. Because you know what my journals end up like? They seem to grow and grow and grow. That's it. We don't need to stitch that at all if you don't want to, but I am going to. Okay. There we go, all done. All right, and then that gets put in here. Actually, I'm going to just sort of ink it a little bit, not too much, just to take the whiteness off. And then that's going to go in there. I stick the whole thing down. Come away from the spine a little bit, okay? Give it a little bit of breathing room. So if it's too near that spine, it'll catch. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's fine. And then Okay, that's that one done. So we've got to do a back pocket. I might not do an envelope this time. I might do a different pocket in the back. Yeah, I think I will. Just make sure. And when you put a tag in, I mean, this is not big enough, but it goes in there. And then the little one goes in there. Okay.